Does it feel like your grocery bill just keeps climbing? That no matter how hard you try, your savings account is always struggling? Or that every trip to the gas station takes a bigger and bigger bite out of your wallet? You're working as hard as ever, but it feels like you're falling behind, like you're getting poorer. It's not just a feeling, and it's not just some mysterious force called the economy that's doing this to you. The hard truth is that your financial struggles are often a direct result of decisions and policies made by politicians. They are in many ways making your life more expensive. In this video, we're going to cut through the noise. We're going to break down the 4 specific ways the government's actions have fueled the inflation that's been draining your bank account and what it means for your financial future. This is the story of how your money is really being spent. Before we get into the nitty-gritty, let's be clear about what this means for you. This isn't just about numbers on a screen. It's about the real-world impact you face every day. The inflation sparked by government actions is like a silent tax that you never agreed to pay. It quietly eats away at the value of your savings. That emergency fund you worked so hard to build. It buys less and less each month. The money you're setting aside for retirement, its future buying power is shrinking before you even get to touch it. This kind of inflation can slow down the whole economy by discouraging consumer spending, which hurts small businesses. It leads to higher interest rates, making it more expensive to get a car loan or a mortgage, or pay off a credit card. It's a tough cycle where you're the one left footing the bill. When you struggle to afford groceries, that's a policy outcome. When you can't imagine affording a down payment on a house in your own town, that's a policy outcome. When you feel like you're on a treadmill, running faster just to stay in the same place, that is a direct result of political decisions we're about to break down. So let's get into the first and biggest one. Hey guys, I just wanted to take a break real quick and thank one of our sponsors, Mint Mobile. I don't really use sponsors much, but I am 100% behind Mint. I have been a customer of theirs. That's the only reason I recommend them for almost 10 years now. I was one of the first Mint mobiles. In fact, it used to be called Mint SIM when I signed up for it. It is the best phone plan I have ever had. I use the prepaid, and that's the one I've linked down there. I use the 1-year plan. It gives you a certain amount of gigabytes per month. You could change it. It comes to about $300 a year, which I pay all at once. You get a big savings if you pay all at once, 12 months, and I don't have to worry about it again. If you want a great phone plan with great coverage and doesn't hit the wallet too hard, sign up for Mint Mobile. Okay, let's get back to the show. The most direct way politicians make you poorer through massive, unchecked government spending, often paid for by what amounts to printing money. You've heard them announce multi-billion-dollar spending packages, but they're often less clear about where that money actually comes from. When the government spends way more than it brings in through taxes, it runs a budget deficit. For the 2024 fiscal year, the U.S. government spent around $6.8 trillion, while only collecting about $4.9 trillion in revenue. That created a massive shortfall that had to be covered by borrowing. The government does this by issuing bonds, and when the central bank buys up these bonds, it effectively creates new money to pay for government spending. Think of the economy like a single pie. When the government pumps trillions of new dollars into the system, it doesn't make the pie any bigger. It just means everyone's slice is worth a little bit less. More money chasing the same amount of goods and services. So what happens? Prices go up. It's not that the bread or the gasoline is suddenly worth more. It's that your dollar is worth less. This isn't just a theory. For example, between 23 and 2024, a surge in government spending far outpaced economic growth, and the result was a painful spike in inflation. They call it quantitative easing or stimulus, economic stimulus, But for you, it works like a hidden tax. Instead of raising your income tax, which is never popular, they expand the money supply, which quietly steals the purchasing power from your wallet. So whenever you hear about a massive new spending bill, remember that you're the one who ultimately pays for it. Not just with taxes, but with higher prices on everything you buy. Next up is a problem that's less about the existence of regulations and more about who they are written for. It's a phenomenon called regulatory capture, where politicians let the very companies they are supposed to be regulating to help write the rules. This often leads to policies that protect corporate profits instead of you, the consumer. When this happens, regulations can be designed to crush small competitors and block new innovative companies from entering the market. The biggest players can afford armies of lobbyists and lawyers to navigate complex rules they helped create, while the little guys get buried in the paperwork. The result is less competition, which almost always means higher prices and lower quality for everyone else. Take the pharmaceutical industry. The nation's largest drug companies and their lobbying groups spend hundreds of millions of dollars each year to influence policy. One of their main goals is to fight back against proposals that would allow the government to negotiate lower prices on drug prices. This intense lobbying effort means that even when politicians say they want to lower healthcare costs, they are often outmaneuvered by powerful corporate interests. So while drug companies protect their profits, you're left paying some of the highest prices in the world for life-saving medicine. This process of regulatory capture turns a tool that should be used for public protection into one that serves corporate interests. Politicians get campaign donations and corporations get favorable rules. The ones left foot in the bill for this cozy relationship are you, through higher prices, fewer choices, and a system that prioritizes profit over people. For most people, housing is the biggest expense they have, and it's an area where the government policies have been a huge driver of the affordability crisis. Politicians have tackled this problem from both sides in the worst possible way. First, they restrict supply. For decades, local and state policies have promoted exclusionary zoning laws. In many American cities, 75% of residential land is zoned only for expensive single-family homes, which bans the construction of more affordable options like duplexes or small apartment buildings. When you can't build more homes where people need to live, the prices for homes that already exist will naturally go through the roof. Second, they pump up demand for policies that sound helpful but often backfire when the government tries to help. People buy homes with subsidies or first-time buyer tax credits. It's just throwing more money at a market that's already starved for supply. This doesn't make housing more affordable. It just bids up the prices of the few homes available. It's like throwing gasoline on a fire. Then there's the role of the central bank. When it kept interest rates artificially low, it made mortgages seem cheap, encouraging people to take out bigger loans and inflating the housing bubble even more. But when the bank was forced to raise rates to fight the very inflation it helped create, mortgage payments soared. A $500,000 mortgage that costs around $2,089 a month at 3% interest rate could jump to $3,079 a month at a 6% rate. This traps people in homes they can suddenly no longer afford and locks aspiring homeowners out of the market. These aren't market failures, they're policy failures. The final piece of the puzzle is the tangled web of subsidies that politicians give to their favorite industries. A subsidy might sound like it's helping, but it usually just warps the market and costs you more in the long run. Take agriculture, for example. The government gives billions in subsidies each year to farmers, especially for commodity crops like corn and soy. On the surface, you'd think this would lower food prices, but it creates huge distortions. Those crops become artificially cheap and are overused in processed foods, while fruits and vegetables get far fewer subsidies, making them relatively more expensive. So your tax dollars are being used to make unhealthy food cheap and healthy food pricey. And those subsidies don't make costs vanish. They just move the cost from the checkout line to your tax bill. You're paying for it one way or another. This same logic applies across countless industries when the government decides to invest in a specific company or technology. It's picking winners and losers. This often leads to cronyism. Think crypto. Cronyism where political connections matter more than merit. The result is inefficient companies propped up by your tax dollar, making worse products at higher costs than a competitive market would deliver. Every subsidy and every special tax break is a political choice that interferes with the market, and the bill always finds its way back to you. It's easy to feel powerless when you see how the system can be stacked against you. But the first step to taking back control is to understand what's really going on. If this video opened your eyes to the real reason your cost of living has been on a roller coaster, please share it with someone who needs to see it. And if you want to keep learning the uncomfortable truths about where politics and your money meet, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification button. The more people understand what's happening, the harder it is for them to get away with it. So let's recap. We've seen how massive government spending, paid for by expanding the money supply, devalues your dollar and drives up prices. We've looked at how corporations can capture the regulatory process to protect their profits and block competition, leaving you with higher prices. We've uncovered how bad housing policies have choked off supply while artificially boosting demand, creating an affordability crisis. And we've exposed how subsidies and cronyism warp the market and funnel your tax dollars to politically connected industries. The common thread here is simple. Government intervention, it's often sold as a solution, but it is frequently the problem. While inflation has cooled recently from its painful highs, the policies that caused it are still in place, posing a risk to your financial future. Your shrinking savings and climbing bills aren't an accident. They are the predictable results of political decisions. The next time a politician promises a program to fix the economy, remember who really pays the price. It's you.